All right, hello folks. This is Alan, and we're just here for another best out of one comprehensive War to Spark draft. Decided I want to do some War to Spark. I'm getting a little bit tired of Eldraine due to the fact that the bots keep leaving up Secret Keepers. We could do best out of three Eldraine, but I think I'm fine taking a gamble with the War to Spark. Just recently reached Mythic rank, as you can tell from this here. So kind of happy right now, but haven't made any War to Spark drafts in a while, and I would like to teach some of the people who enjoy watching my channel and my videos to get some ideas on how to draft a set. So yeah, let's begin. It's a pretty fun draft set. I'm not gonna lie, War to Spark, but the power levels are kind of high due to the fact that there's some cards that are just really unbeatable in this format, like the God Eternal. So I think Throne of Eldraine is a little bit more balanced, but I haven't done this in a while, so let's try this out. Right, pack one, pick one. What are we looking at? Our rare is incredibly powerful. Enter the God Eternals is a bomb sorcery speed spell. The fact that it can remove a creature, most likely, gain a bunch of life, and then mill them, and then make a creature is incredibly absurd and broken. Does put us in 2 cards off the bat, but it's definitely incredibly powerful and first pickable. What else do we have? There is Davrio, which is an excellent uncommon. Much more flexible pick compared to the God Eternals, but the power level isn't that great compared to it. It's still a very excellent card to play on turn 3, and then to get some nice cards milled out of the opponent's hand. And it's really good in aggressive deck too, given the fact that you are also pressuring them. The opponent has to play cards out of their hands, and then the other passive ability that deals 2 damage to them if they have 1 or fewer cards in hand is pretty solid. So Davrio is a really good card. The other uncommons, Rouse Outburst stands out as a really powerful 2-for-1, being able to deal 3 damage to a creature, and then putting a card into your hand is really powerful. Commits us to 2 cards off the bat, and probably won't ever pick it over Enter the God Eternals simply because it's so powerful. Yeah, probably not going to take it over Enter the God Eternals just because the power levels are just much more significant and more drastic. Looking at our commons, what do we have? We have Divine Arrow as a decent removal spell in white. Solid, the ability to deal 4 damage to attacking or blocking creatures, great. And then there's Omnixil's Cruelty, which is excellent. Excellent card for a card. Instant speed removal. Giving a creature -5/-5 is definitely much more preferable over Divine Arrow, simply because they don't need to be attacking or blocking. Nice way to take out annoying combat tricks and pump spells. And I definitely think I would take Omnix's Cruelty over Spark Harvest, which is also another excellent removal spell, but requires you to most likely cast this on 5. Or you can sacrifice a creature to destroy another target creature or planeswalker, but I feel that Omnix's Cruelty being much cheaper and instant speed makes it much better than the Spark Harvest, which requires you to get the 5 mana for the most part and commits you to black right off the bat. Omnix's Cruelty is also splashable compared to Spark Harvest, so I wouldn't really consider it over Omnix's Cruelty. Bloomhulk is great, but again, would never take it over Omnix's Cruelty. So looking at the commons, I would choose Omnix's Cruelty over everything else, simply because it's splashable, it's instant speed, it's really cheap, and it kills almost literally everything. But I don't think I would ever take it over Enter the God Eternals, simply because it's so powerful. The ability to make a creature and destroy a creature is relevant. The ability to gain life and mill the opponent's top 4 cards is incredibly powerful and broken. So yeah, even though Enter the God Eternals commits us to 2 colors off the bat, it is also splashable, given the black part of it, if we pick up enough mana fixing such as Guild Globes and the Mana Geodes, or if we end up in blue-green. Definitely a very powerful card. So yeah, if it wasn't for Enter the God Eternals, it would probably just be Omnixil's Cruelty over Davrio. And then I think I would rate the cards Enter the God Eternals as the #1 pick, then Omnixil's Cruelty as a second, then Davrio as a third, Spark Harvest as the fourth, maybe then Bloomhoke as the fifth, Raw's Outburst will be a sixth, but it's still very powerful. I just wouldn't pick it simply because it puts us into two colors, but given the fact that Enter the Gods Eternals is incredibly powerful, I think it's worth picking a two color spell as our first pick, even though the flexibility isn't warranted. Black and blue are definitely powerful colors, and black and blue are the strongest colors in this set. So yeah, don't think I would consider anything else. Let's just take it here. Any good cards to follow up with the Enter the God Eternals? Some decent commons like Erratic Visionary is a solid 2-drop. Soren's Thirst can be okay as a 1-of. But the best cards in this pack have to be either Domri's Ambush and Trusted Pegasus. Domri's Ambush puts us into 2 colors off the bat again, and only plays well in that 2-color archetype. Trusted Pegasus is a solid 3-drop, nothing special. I mean, actually, it's very good. 3 mana 2/2 flying that gives other creatures flying is pretty excellent. But given that Enter the God Eternals is our first pick, I think I want to just stick with blue and black for now. Like the Erratic Visionary, the power level isn't comparable to Trusted Pegasus. It's slightly lower, but Trusted Pegasus is can be taken out pretty fairly easy as well, just as a 2/2 flyer. I think Erratic Vision is just slightly lower than Trusted Pegasus, and I'm fine taking this as an okay 2-drop. Given that we're picking up Enter the God Eternals, we could gamble, however, on maybe just Domri's Ambush. Given that it's the most powerful card in the pack, and maybe blue and black isn't open. Like, Erratic Visionary is replaceable in filler, so maybe I just don't take it here. A Johnny's Primate, there's not enough life gain in this archetype, in this format, to make this good. Like, having 1 counter is decent, but it's not powerful enough, and this is a card you want to play if you already have a black white deck going. So really, I think the only cards to consider are these top 3 here, and given that Erratic Visionary is replaceable, and Domri's Ambush is just too powerful, I think I just take it here. It does put us in another 2-color archetype, but we are already in 2 colors with Enter the God Eternals, and I think I'd rather draft around Enter the God Eternals over normal Loyal Pegasus at 3. So yeah, I think I just take the most powerful card, pick up Domri's Ambush in case this doesn't work out. So let's take it here. And then we get rewarded. Yeah, sort of. Spark Harvest is excellent at 5. There's a Sunblade Angel, which is great. What else did we have? Chandra's Power Helix is pretty good. Is there anything for red-green? Like Devouring Hellion works best in the black-red deck, which we're not in. I mean, there's some okay creatures for red-green and a pretty good removal spell, but I think Spark Harvest beats them all. Given that we picked up Enter the God Eternals, I just want to draft around it. Given that it's so powerful, and much more powerful compared to Domri's Ambush, that, yeah, I think I just a Spark Harvest here. Nothing special. Stick with black. Having a powerful removal spell. Definitely really solid. And now there's a Law Rune Enforcer, which is a great 1-drop in white. But we passed up a couple of white cards already. There's Band Together as an excellent removal spell in green, in case we end up in green-red. There's a Guild Globe, which can help us splash for maybe the Enter the God Eternals, in case we end up like blue-red or blue in another color, and then the black can be a nice splash. And Orders Aid the Fallen if we pick up more Planeswalkers in the later run, and this is a pretty good card in black-blue, since black-blue tends to be more controlling, and you tend to stall on the late game, and this can fetch back a powerful Planeswalker. So yeah, lots of interesting choices here. The best card in this pack has to either be Band Together and Law Rune Enforcer, but given that we picked up Spark Harvest and Enter the God Eternals, I don't think I want to even consider red-green at all, given that there's some solid cards already, like Aid the Fallen. And given that we have a Spark Harvest, I don't think we're kind of splashing the black. I think we just want to stick with blue-black. So yeah, I think Aid the Fallen makes sense here. Just take it. Even though we might be passing up on a powerful removal spell. I mean, I could just gamble on this Band Together. Maybe, again, black and blue isn't as open, and this is still the 4th pick in the pack. That I just take it here. Yeah, I can see that happening. Maybe blue-black isn't as open and it's better just stick with red-green. And Band Together is a solid removal spell, pretty powerful. And Aid the Fallen tends to wheel, and we just really need one in the deck to get this going. So, yeah, let's take a gamble here. Pick the Band Together. And now what do you pick up? Well, Contentious Plan's pretty decent. Same with Lazatev Reaver as an excellent 2-drop. New Horizons is fine, but nothing great. Can help us splash if we end up like maybe blue-green, and we might end up using New Horizon to splash the black. But I like the Lazatev Reaver just as a solid 2-drop. Works well with Spark Harvest. Gives us as a mass creature. Pretty solid 2-drop. And I would take over the Contentious Plan just because 2-drops are more important to find in limited. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be, we're gonna stick with blue-black for now. We did pass up on an 8 to Fallen, and I forgot what else we passed up on. I think it was Erratic Visionary, but those cards are kind of filler, and you can just get away with just having one of them in your deck. That's not too big of a deal. But I like Lazatev Reaver as a solid 2-drop in this deck. Let's just take it. And then we get rewarded. I guess a Guild Globe is decent. There's also Chandra's Power Helix in case we move back into blue, into green-red, which we could still end up doing, however. Or we can just take the Guild Globe as a way to cantrip and maybe splash for another 3rd color if that ability comes up too often. But we just most likely want to stick with black-blue, to be honest. And none of these cards really stand out too much. Like, maybe we pick up a nice bomb in a single color. We end up taking the Guild Globe. I mean, Chandra's Power Helix is excellent as well, so maybe I just take it here in case that option in red-green is still open. So yeah, let's just take it. And then we get rewarded. There's a Mana Shield in case we want to ramp. Grim Initiate is only good in black-red. Like, these are all okay cards, to be honest. I don't mind an Unlikely Aid. This card tends to have some upside. Even though a lot of pros rate this as a low card, I think it has a lot of upside. I think it's quite a sleeper. The fact that you can give a creature indestructible can be nice sometimes. The ability to pump is nice as well. I think this card can catch an opponent out of hand sometimes, not knowing that, you know, they're playing into this trick, giving a creature indestructible. It's nice to use this to maybe cancel out a removal spell and just give me a nice trade. So yeah, I think I'm down taking the Unlikely Aid. I think this card is underrated for the most part. Otherwise, what would I be looking at? Maybe just a Mana Geo to help me ramp and fix our mana. But I think Unlikely Aid makes sense here. Let's just take it. And Roboboat Riders in case we move back into green-red. I think this card's okay as well. Does fare better if you have a lot more higher power creatures, but we have some okay black cards too. Not a big fan of the Vampire Opportunist. Can be fine in the late game, however. Maybe we pick up our first Ashiok in case you want to pressure some Planeswalkers. Because blue-black tends to be more controlling. We're looking to play in the late game. Maybe Vampire Opportunist can be a fine mana sink in the late game, maybe to drain out the opponent and deal some damage. It's also a fine 2-drop that we might need as an early blocker that might just pick it over to Ashiok Skulker. Like, I don't hate it. It's not a great card, but I don't mind it. Like, Ashiok Skulker is replaceable. It's a fine 1-of. Same with Vampire Opportunist. Given that we have picked up a couple of black cards already, I think maybe we just want to stick with blue-black for the most part. So yeah, I think I'm fine taking the Vampire Opportunist. I don't think Roboboat Riders is so powerful that we take it here over these other 2 common cards that can be fine filler cards in blue-black. Like, I mean, you never know. I mean, we could still end up in blue, red, green, to be honest. And these are kind of filler cards that should just take the more unique card. Yeah, let's try out the Roboboat Riders. And now what's... I guess we have an Iron Bully as a fine card in any deck. There's a Turret Ogre in case I still end up in green-red, which is a high possibility. Like, we have a great setup for a powerful green-red deck with, like, Domir's Ambush, Band Together, and Power Helix, and Roboboat Riders. That maybe we should just consider moving into red-green. Like, we didn't pass up a whole bunch of super powerful blue black cards. Like I didn't see any Callous Dismissals or anything. There's only a Spark Harvest being passed. Iron Bully is just okay, but it's not incredible. So yeah, I might just gamble on the Turret Ogre here. Yeah, let's try it out. There's a Soren's Thirst, but there's also an Invading Manicore as a fine card. I think these two are close in power level that I just take the Soren's Thirst. I still want to cast this. However, it's unlikely that maybe blue-black isn't as open and we just switch into red-green. It's always a hard way to decide, but I mean, Invading Manicores tend to wheel, and you know, these tend to pass. So maybe I take the more unique removal spell. Let's take the Soren's Thirst, and there's an on-crop Invader, which can be fine in red-green. Don't think I'm moving to red-black anytime soon. That Devouring Hellion is worth it. So let's take the on-crop Invader. Hey, the Fallen seems pretty decent. We pick up a nice blue bomb Planeswalker in next draft. Okay, so looking at this draft, we are kind of deciding between red-green and black-blue for the most part. We can switch into any one of these. I'm just hoping that the pack 2 that we open up a really powerful card in any one of these colors. What we don't want to see is a really powerful white card that's complete bomb that we choose over blue-red, blue-black, or red-green. But it seems red-green is fairly open that I managed to pick up some nice cards in case we want to switch over. But right now we right now we don't really have a color right now. I think our second pack will decide for us what we want to move into. So let's just take the ghost form and move on. And what do we open? Well, Massacre is a nice bomb in black. Definitely happy taking that. There's also Raska, which would have been great in black. Dimir's Ambush is solid too. There's a Jaya's Greeting as well, and a Callous Dismissal. So this pack is looking pretty stacked. So what would be the choices here? Like Jaya's Greeting would be a fine removal spell in red-green. Same with Dimir's Ambush. Callous Dismissal would be excellent as well in blue-black. Raska is great, but I think Massacre Girl is just too powerful here. Just ability to wipe the board and put out 4/4 Menace is great that we just take it. Stick with black-blue. Definitely a powerful card in a pick one, pack one scenario. But this pack has some really good cards for the other colors as well, but I think Massacre Girl is just too powerful passive that we just take it here. Okay, and did we get rewarded? Kinda, yeah. I mean, we could have been in a nice red-green aggro deck, but I guess given that we take a Massacre Girl, I think we just want to commit ourselves into blue-black for the most part, and we have some solid playables. Like, the best card in this pack is Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage, but we have some good cards too, such as Thunder Drake. Another Lazative Reaver would be solid. Contentious Plan is decent. Then there's Soren's Thirst, which I'm just fine having one of. Given that we take a Massacre Girl, I think we want to just stick with blue-black for now. We could have had a powerful red-green deck as well, but yeah, sometimes in drafts you're just gambling between a bunch of guilds sometimes, and I think we just want to stick with Dimir for now. So now the question is, do we just take Lazative Reaver over Thunder Drake, or do we stick with Thunder Drake? I think I'm happy having my first Thunder Drake as a nice evasive flyer, a creature that can grow in the late game, and you know, just as a win condition over the Lazative Reaver, which is a solid 2-drop, but having one should be fine. We can pick up more 2-drops in the later game. That I think Thunder Drake is just more important for this type of deck that we're trying to build. So yeah, I think I'll just take the Thunder Drake here. I think it has more upside than just a 1/2 that amasses for 1. So let's take the Thunder Drake. Yeah, we could have still been a really powerful red-green deck with these 2 cards that we just passed up, that we're going to pass up on. But Lazative Reaver is pretty solid. I'm happy taking it here. So yeah. And now what? I guess we have Erratic Visionary. We don't have a Planeswalker yet for the second 8 to Fallen, so I'm fine passing that up. There's a Soren's Thirst. There's a Pollen Bright Druid, which would have been really powerful if we picked up maybe Mowu or the Planeswalker in the last pack. So yeah, maybe the red-green route was just a lot more powerful than the blue-green, blue-black, but I mean, this is still a really good deck that we're drafting here. That I really don't think I can complain too much, given our picks. Given that we picked up a Massacre Girl and entered the God Eternals and Thunder Drake already, as well as a Spark Harvest, so yeah, this draft was a bit of a gamble, but yeah, I think a Rag Visionary is fine either way, so let's just take it here. Well, yeah, Tibalt's Rager would have been pretty powerful, but again, I can't really complain. So now what, we got two pretty bad cards to pick from. Like, there's a Sky Theater Strix, which isn't exciting, a Saheeli Silverwing, which isn't that great. Maybe just take the Strix as a 2-drop in case I don't pick up any. Otherwise, like, Saheeli Silverwing's a filler 4-drop. It's not really good at all. Maybe just take the Strix as a blocker or something to play in the early game in case I have nothing to play. But definitely Tibalt's Rager is an excellent 2-drop that we have to pass up on, sadly. So, I mean, is there any chance that we move back into red-green? Probably not, given that we passed up so many powerful red-greens cards. So let's just take the Sky Theater Strix. And now what? Guess we have our Narset, which can help us fish 40, enter the God Eternals, maybe Spark Harvest. Fine card overall. It's not great in a deck with a lot of creatures, but in a blue-black controlling deck, it seems pretty solid. A nice card to fish out with Aid the Fallen. If we were in red-green, we would be looking at this Vivian's Grizzly as a solid card. So I can't complain here. Let's just take the Narset.
If you wish to surrender now, I understand.
And now what? I guess a contentious plan could be fine with the Thunder Drake. There's a Vampire Opportunist as a solid 2-drop as well for the late game that we can play, and then we can drain the opponent for. And I don't mind having my first copy, to be honest. I think having more creatures than spells is much more important in a draft. Contentious Plan does work well with the Thunder Drake. It does work well as for the Last of Reavers as well, and a fine card to cantrip with, so I can't really complain. But Vampire Opportunist can offer something in the late game in case we manage to stall out. Just a fine card that can drain the opponent. So, yeah, let's try out the Vampire Opportunist. I think the creature is more important. Now I guess we can try Last of Behemoth as a 5-drop in case we don't have any more Curve Toppers. Crushing the Sand is not a card I really like to play because the opponent can play around it pretty easily in the late game. It does amass for 2, but either way it seems pretty underwhelming, so let's pick this up in case we need a 5-drop. And now what? Not much here. Davrius Shadow Fugue is better for more an aggressive black-red deck. Kaya's Ghost Form, we already have one in the sideboard, so let's just take the Davrius Shadow Fugue here and move on. So yeah, let's take this. Maybe we play the Wall Runes, maybe not. Already have a Lazative Behemoth. Maybe the Charity Extractor can be a fine blocker at 4. Alright, so look at the final pack, what are we looking for? We do need some help, but I think we can get there with this deck. I think the red-green deck would have been more powerful, given that we had a lot more choices to choose from in this pack too. But I really can't complain much. This draft was difficult to navigate through, but hopefully the final pack RNG can give us some solid cards in blue-black that we can replace over cards like Charity Extractor, maybe the Behemoth, maybe the Wall of Runes. But our deck is still trying to shape itself out for the most part. But I think we can get there on the 3rd pack. So let's move on now. And what did we pick up? I guess another Spark Harvest is pretty decent. Well, this would have been a great card in our red-green deck, but again, I can't complain. Augur Bolus can fish us a Spark Harvest, a Sorin's Thirst, maybe enter the God Eternals and Aid the Fallen, but I don't think it's enough to warrant playing this mediocre 2-drop, to be honest. I think the card here has to just be Spark Harvest as another powerful removal spell in the late game. Other than that, if this wasn't a pack, I'd probably be looking at this Vraska's Finisher as a fine way to maybe take out a creature. But overall, Spark Harvest is just a better card here. Now what? I can pick up a Contentious Plan, maybe Ashia Skulker as a 5-drop that can pressure Planeswalkers in the late game. It's a fine blocker too as a 5-drop, so I don't hate it. What does Contentious Plan do? It can help our Thunder Drake row, maybe our Last of Reavers, but I mean, our deck isn't looking to be aggressive, so even if we grow the Reavers, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just 2/2 blockers, so it doesn't look too amazing. It can help out Narset, but maybe Skulker is just more important here, that we just take it as a 5-drop in the late game that can probably get in some evasive damage and as a win condition. So let's just take it here. And there's a Bopin that should have been great in red-green, so I can't complain. And now what? I guess there's a Herald of Dreadhorde, which is a solid 4-drop. Definitely a great replacement over the Charity Extractor and Amass 2. Leaves behind an Amass 2 body. Tithe Bear Giant can be another fine curve topper. And then there's Contentious Plan, which is fine, but I think I like the Herald of Dreadhorde here. Another Herald seems fine as a powerful 4-drop that masses for 2, can't complain. Over nothing, pretty much. His Wolf would have been great in the last, if we stuck with red-green, but yep, let's take it here. And another Last of Reaver gives us more solid 2-drop blockers in the early game that can get to our God Eternals and get us our actually a Skulker in the late game to attack for a bunch, and maybe our Thunder Drake to serve as win conditions. So where's our win conditions? I guess enter the God Eternals, Massacre Girl's a win condition, Shock Skulker, Thunder Drake can be a nice win condition. So yeah, we're just trying to stall out the early game and to get to our win conditions and go from there. So let's take the Last of Reaver. I guess maybe a stealth mission can be fine. Maybe a way to cheese in an attack. I mean, there's also Teferi's Time Twist, which can be fine. It's not great with Amass tokens, but maybe it's fine saving a creature in case the opponent has a removal trick. We can utilize this. Otherwise, I think Stealth Mission's okay. Could be fine again, some damage, but I mean, we're not looking to kill the opponent quickly with Stealth Mission. Maybe going to squeeze in a little bit of damage in the late game, but we're looking to be more controlling defensive, so I think Teferi's Times Twist makes sense here. It can help protect some of our creatures in the late game, maybe Narset, maybe the Massacre Girl. It can be a bit of a nombo with our Mask, given that we have Enter the God Eternals or Herald of Dreadhorde, that maybe the Stealth Mission just makes a little bit more sense. Maybe grow a creature, punch in a little bit of damage. So I think I'm down for that. Like, what are we looking to protect with Teferi's Time Twist? Like, I don't care about the Last of Reaver to protect, the Theater Strix, the Narset, the Thunder Drake is a good creature to protect. Ashiok, Skulker is fine to protect. Same with Last of Behemoth. But overall, I think we're looking. It could be awkward with if we have a bunch of Amass creatures on the battlefield and this Time Twist doesn't do much. Looks more situational, that maybe the Stealth Mission is just a better card overall to grow a creature and attack in for a little bit of damage. Who knows? I think they're both pretty bad regardless. So yeah, let's take the Teferi's Time Twist. And I don't hate a Dreadmalkin as a nice sacrifice outlet for these Amass creatures that we're building up, and could be a fine way to get value in case the opponent uses a removal spell. So yeah, I think I'm down for it. And I guess Iron Bully as a filler 3-drop in case we need one. Don't think we need a second Last of Behemoth. Not a big fan of Crushing Descent, so let's just take it here. And how good is Augur of Bolas in this deck? We can find a Spark Harvest, Sorin's Thirst, which we might play or might not. I think we're cutting Wall of Runes, so we can kind of build our deck here, I think. What cards are cuttable? Teferi's Time Twist is definitely cuttable. Now we take in Dreadmalkin. We have an outlet in case the opponent has a removal spell. Sky Theater Strix is not that amazing. Could be fine with the Iron Bully. Maybe it ends up putting a counter onto it. But overall, it's not great. Could just cut the Charity Extractor. Don't think I'm playing that. Maybe the Last of Behemoth can be cut. So how good is Augur of Bolas? Like, it can search out maybe Spark Harvest, Sorin's Thirst, enter the God Eternals, but again, there's not too many targets. We have a lot of creatures and planeswalkers. Maybe we can take the No Escape as a fine counter spell to keep up. We do need a lot more instant speed spells, but we don't have much. Maybe Sorin's Thirst is an instant speed. ability. Dread Malkin's instant speed, Erratic Visionary has some instant speed stuff going on, but overall, I don't think we're keeping up too much mana um, to warrant this. That we might as well just play a 3-drop. Maybe having an Iron Bully is good enough with our Sky Theater Strix that we just take a second one. So, bit of a decision here, but I mean, we have one already. Maybe the No Escape just works better in a controlling deck that we just take it here. Like, we might just end up cutting the Sky Theater Strix. I don't think playing a second Bully warrants keeping a Sky Theater Strix here. And I don't think this effect is too powerful unless you're in like a proliferate deck. So yeah, I think I can keep up a No Escape. I think it's fine for this deck. Not gonna complain. Maybe just bullpen for the side for gems. How likely is it that I cast Bond of Revival? It could be okay. There's a Crushing Descent I might main deck. Hopefully I don't end up playing it, but I think I would end up casting Bond of Revival for the most part over anything else in this pack, so let's take it. So, looking at this draft, I think it's okay. Nothing too amazing. I think we would have had a much more powerful red-green deck, but unfortunately RNG sometimes puts us into a gambling situation. So let's think about this deck here. I think I like the Dread Malkin. I like the Visionary. Sky Theater Strix is cuttable. I think I like the Vampire Opportunist given that we're looking to be more controlling. Time Twist is cuttable. Maybe Soren's Thirst has a little bit more interaction. Unlikely Aid can be fine as something to keep up to play around removal. I'm fine with Iron Bully. Maybe No Escape can be fine in this deck. Thunder Drake, Hero Dreadhorde. Last of Behemoth can be cuttable. Maybe Bond of Revival. So we're thinking about 4 cuts here. Like, how good is the Last of Behemoth, to be honest? It doesn't really have a lot of evasion. The Bond of Revival also doesn't look too great, however, because a lot of our creatures tends to be Amass. We already have 8 the Fallen to get back a creature and maybe a Planeswalker, but we have one way to recur a creature. So maybe we just cut the Bond of Revival. Last of Behemoth can be a fine curve topper. Maybe keep up just these 2 other cards, which are not amazing by any means, but like a Sky Theater Strix can be an okay 2-drop. Nothing much, because our late game is looking pretty stacked that maybe I don't need another 5 drops such as the Bond of Revival here. Like the haste part I don't really care too much about. It could get back Ashok Skulker, but we have 8 of Fallen to get stuff back already. So I think this is our deck. Like the cards that are kind of like underpowered and mediocre are like the Fairy's Time Twist, but it can save a creature in the late game. It's a little bit nombo with Enter the God Eternal, so I might consider not keeping this. What else is kind of a cuttable card? Sky Theater Strix doesn't seem that great. I think I'm fine with the Last of Behemoth as a fine 5-drop. So now the question is, do I end up cutting these 2 just for Bond of Revival, perhaps? Like, how good is the Sky Theater Strix? It can be an okay 2-drop, I guess. It's not amazing. It can get a little bit of pump. It's good with the Iron Bully. But other than that, maybe it just doesn't do too much. I just end up cutting it. Maybe we can just try this deck out for now. I think I just want to keep my curve low and not have too many expensive cards. Bond of Revival is just okay as well as a curve topper. I don't think it's that amazing. Yeah, I think this is just our deck. That we just go for it. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna make a part 2 video. What's our mana base looking like? Favoring black, but we do have some double blue cards like Narset, that's pretty much it. But we have some 2-drops that we want to play early, so I think it's 9-8. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make this part 1 and just play a couple of games with it, see how it's like, and then make a part 2 later once the time runs out. So let's go for this. Honestly, think I would have had a better red-green deck, but the second pack was hard to navigate, given the fact that there was both Rastka and Massacre Girl in the same pack. Um, so I mean, it was really just RNG deciding really what cards would have been passed up in the other picks. So I think this draft was pretty hard to understand. So now what I got: Dren Malkin on 1, Visionary on 2. I think that's okay, given that I have these two drops in the early game. Could need a little bit more land, but I think we can get there. Let's try this out. Now let's just attack with Dren Malkin. Don't think there's any 1-mana spells to be aware of. And I like the Sky Theater Strike, just putting in an evasive attacker into the early game. Seems pretty nice over just a blocker. Land looks good, and I guess I attack now. If he moves with Sky Theater Strix, I can sacrifice it with the Dread Malkin and get in some value. And do I keep up mana for anything, or maybe I just play out the Visionary? Like, he could use Chandra's Power Helix on this, that would be fine. I still have a 1/3 blocker, so I think this is okay. He could shy his Greeting on the Dread Malkin, but opponent did miss a land drop last turn. Could have a removal spell this turn. Crawl Stinger is pretty annoying. So I could just sacrifice something to kill this, but I don't think I'm pushing enough damage that I care too much. I can still attack with a Dread Malkin still because it has Menace, so I think this is good. And leave up mana to maybe sacrifice in case he has removal spells on one of our creatures. I think this is fine. We do have double blue for Enter the God Eternals, so that was a consideration. But I think we have more black going on than blue. So now what? So the opponent seems to have some pretty good blockers against us right now. The 1/2 is not doing much. Do I loot away anything? Perhaps, probably not. We'll see. Land looks good, so now what? I could just play out the Heralded Dreadhorde. Dread Malkin, if I attacks, what happened? He's going to double block. I'm going to have to end up sacrificing one of my creatures to trade off for maybe the Crawl Stinger or Saheeli, which this is going to die anyways due to the Crawl Stinger. I could sacrifice a creature in Spark Harvest, but I don't think so. I think I just want to develop the Heralded Dreadhorde. This is a fine attacker. It can trade off for the 2/2 or the 2/3, and we'll just say go. Leaves off two bodies, which seems pretty decent. Next turn, if I get another land, I've entered the God Eternals, which can be pretty powerful. I can pump the Flyer, take out one of his creatures, and do some damage. Well, Leyline Prowler is pretty annoying, so now what? I can attack for the Herald, offer a trade. I could just play out Narset. And what happens if I play out Narset and attack? Next turn, I don't really have any good blocks against these creatures. What can Narset find us? I think we're just going to attack here first, see what happens. I think I'm fine with this trade. I'm still getting 2/2 Amass tokens. Narset seems pretty decent, and I can Spark Harvest this, actually. So
There
let's
are
use the
so
ability.
many mysteries to uncover. Keep an open mind.
Unlikely Aid seems decent. And now I can just Spark Harvest the Narset and kill off the 2/3. So next turn he attacks with both. What happens? I don't really have any good double blocks against this Leyline Prowler, so I think I just do it. Well, actually I need to sacrifice a creature. Actually, let's just undo this. Maybe I'm fine just taking damage from this Leyline Prowler if he decides to attack with it next turn. Keep up the Spark Harvest. He could play a bigger creature here. We'll just see. I still have a good block on his 2/2 Death Toucher. And he can't draw cards with this, so I think this is fine. Living Twister is pretty powerful. He can start utilizing this ability, so I think I need to Spark Harvest this next turn. I think this is pretty solid. So now what? Maybe I just activate the ability. Yeah, let's do it.
I have just the trick.
Time Twist looks pretty decent. I think I still need to get rid of this Living Twister. So now what? How good is Sky Theater Strix? Not that great. He already has a blocker out. Maybe we just Spark Harvest here, killing off getting rid of our Sky Theater Strix and taking out the 2/5. Seems pretty decent. And then maybe we can Amass and push in some damage. I could just sacrifice a 2/2, kill the 2/5, and then play the last of Reaver as a fine way to make a 1/1. But maybe I want this to grow. But I could get punished for a removal trick. So yeah, let's try this. Yeah, I think I like sacrificing the Strix. It doesn't seem too powerful here. Now, do I leave up any mana for Time Twist? I could save Narset with this. If he decides to attack into it. I still have a good trade with this 2/2. Maybe I just leave up mana for the Time Twist. Yeah, seems pretty solid. Well, he doesn't draw. Thank God Narset's here. So, yep. Definitely looks good. And if he attacks with everything, I think I'm just going to Time Twister the Narset. So now what? Now I can use a Time Twist on the Narset, perhaps. Reset the Loyalty, maybe get another Spark Harvest. But I think we should be good here. I'm just going to say go. I could have sacrificed a Narset, but now he has mana up. He could have Counterspell. Maybe I just go for the Enter the God Eternals. Like, the only thing that counters me is, like... I don't think anything really counters me, to be honest, so I think I just played out. Seems like... Leyline Prowler seems like a pretty solid target. Unless he has double blue. Yeah, he could have double blue the Leyline Prowler, and he could have like something like oh well, I guess he doesn't have any answers. Okay. I almost thought he had something, but alright. Let's move on. Yeah, I think Time Twist has some relevancy in our deck. I'm just gonna keep it. The Sky Theater Strix didn't do too much other than being like a fine attacker, but other than that, I think we might need it because we might be low on creatures in this deck. Don't think anything else really matters too much. Like, I could replace a Sky Theater for an unlikely aid, but meh. I think having one is fine enough. Alright, so we have Sky Theater Strix on 2. Arm Bully is a fine way to put a counter on it, making this a 2-3 flyer. So yeah, I think this is pretty solid. Let's keep here. No Escape seems pretty decent as well in the late game. So Starve an Island, play out Strix next turn, then Arm Bully on it. Is there any reason to play the Swamp? Not really. Let's just play out the Strix. I can leave up No Escape next turn, but I think I'd rather do it after I play the Iron Bully. And now this is a good reason to play the Iron Bully, just to put a counter on the flyer and start attacking for a bit. Opponent is in blue-red, so looking to play lots of instances and sorceries and get rewarded for that. No Escape can be a bit of a problematic card, simply because it doesn't deal with instances and sorceries too often. He could just have Jaya's Greeting. Well, the Transmutation is actually fine, because it's still a 2-2. And I can still attack him for 3 next turn. This Thunder Drake looks excellent. Now we can attack him for 3. So yeah, not a big fan of this Kazmina's Transmutation in this set. It's not that great of a removal card, just because of cards like just because of cards with counters and lots of mass creatures. It doesn't tend to find any good targets. In Throne of Eldraine, it's a lot better. Frogify's a lot better, simply because there's again not a lot of counters and token creatures running around. But let's see. Overall, I think I'm just gonna attack in. This has menace, so it's fine. I can leave him No Escape, and I probably will. You could have a combat trick here, but I think I'm fine trading something off if he tries to do anything. I'm fine trading off a creature for a combat trick here. I'm still punching in for 3 or 5 perhaps, but this is looking good, and I can leave up No Escape in case he develops a scary creature. Okay, sure. He could have used out during the block phase to ambush, but I don't think I can counter any removal in case he has any. leaving up mana for another instant speed and sorcery spell. Yeah, I guess the land is good now, and now what? Don't think I want to Spark Harvest anything for 5. I could just develop the Last of Behemoth. I could just attack with both of these and offer a trade, take out his flyer. And I think maybe it's worth it. If I attack the Iron Bully, he just double blocks. I guess it's fine just trading off for the 1/1 Amass creature token. Yeah, let's go for it. And we're definitely taking out the zombie army token. He could have a way to amass, which could suck. A totally loss. Okay. Sure. I still develop my Last of Behemoth, which seems pretty solid. Contentious plans away the cantrip and proliferate. Honor the God Pharaohs, just to make a token. So now what? He still has to chump this 5/4. I can just attack with this 5/4 next turn. Leave back the 2/2. Don't know why he's attacking. I honestly don't think that's a smart move, given the fact that he has a double block on his 2/2 and I'm the aggressor. And I'm beating him in this race, so I think I'm just gonna play a Thunder Drake, say go. Sure. Opponent has a lot of instances and sorceries, but he doesn't seem to have any good payoffs yet, I don't think. So I could Spark Harvest this and then hit in for lethal, but I think that's a little bit too ambitious. I think I'm just fine attacking here. Having him chump this. Because I think I'm still ahead, that I don't care too much. I don't think he's going to kill me anytime soon at 13 life. So now what? I could just play out the Thunder Drake or play 2. Maybe play out the Last of Reaver and leave up no escape. I just play out the Thunder Drake. He didn't seem to have any counterspell last turn. This is still a very scary creature he needs to deal with. Don't think I want to leave up mana to counter anything. I don't think he can play anything too scary. Like, he could play a powerful Planeswalker, but I still have Spark Harvest to deal with it. Another Callous Dismissal, sure, and he attacks him for 2 again. Still not going to kill me, I don't think. Yeah, let's just attack in here. Next turn is going to be lethal. I think I'm fine playing out the Drake. It's another evasive attacker. He could counter it, but I don't care. Sure. I still don't think he's going to kill me. That's fine. I can Spark Harvest his 3/3. He got rid of his only counterspell that can probably take out a instant in sorcery. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna pull a trigger on this Spark Harvest, to be honest. Yeah, let's do it. Or I can just play a creature and sacrifice it, but I think I'm just fine just paying all this and just taking out the 3/3. Hopefully he doesn't have another Crush Descent. Well, that's annoying. Yeah, let's attack with the 5/4. I think I'm fine offering a trade. I don't want this to grow any bigger. Yep. Opponent's still at 2 life, so he needs to keep up counter spells to pump the Sky Theater Strix. I can still drain him out with Vampire Opportunist. Spark Double, sure. I guess he has a blocker now for the 2/2, and he can start attacking for 1. But now I think we can try to leave up counter spells. Next turn I can just drain them with the Vampire Opportunist. Last of Reaver seems pretty decent. Just putting another body onto the battlefield, I can amass and go wide. And I can leave up Counterspell with no escape in case he plays anything else. Yep. Opponent explodes, and another win here. Our deck isn't that great, to be honest, but it seems like most people don't really know how to draft this set. That we're just getting a bunch of wins. But other than that, can't complain. Well, I've been playing this opponent earlier. I do have my 2/4 drops. I am going on the play. I think this is fine. Would be nice if I had some 2 drops in the early game, but I think we can get there to 4 drops. Did play this opponent twice last match with my with a pretty good deck. I mean last draft. My bad. Yeah, let's put on Island Zigo. Opponents in red. Okay, so this is gonna be a bit scary. The Burning Prophet is kind of a scary card since he can pump this, and then the Scry 1 ability seems pretty relevant just so he can improve his draw step every single turn. So I need to find an answer to his Burning Prophet, hopefully. Maybe I trade it off for Herald. Alright, Vampire Opportunist is not great, but it's something. I think I'm just going to play it out here. Maybe just take some hits from this Burning Prophet and play out the Dreadhorde next turn. I think I took this over Contentious Plan. I think it's the right call, given that we're more controlling, and we're looking to drain the opponent out in the late game. And it's still 2 drops, so is there anything to play around? There's no good attacks. I think the Dreadhorde's fine here. Maybe next turn attack with it, or offer to trade with the Burning Prophet if he attacks, because I don't want him to keep scrying with this card, so I'm fine trading this off if he decides to do anything, like maybe Pyro Helix, and I can make a nice block here. I've entered a Guy Eternal soon, so that can be pretty powerful. It only depends on what he plays. Veraska's pretty scary to a target creature only. So now
Go
what?
ahead. If you need my services, it may cost you more than just money.
Soren's Thirst doesn't look too bad. I can Soren's Thirst to 1/1 and then attacking with the 3/2 seems pretty solid. I think it makes sense. And then we can leave up Teferi's Time Twist in case he has any removal spells. So end of turn we can we can try to save this, get a counter on this, make this into an even bigger creature. This is a nice free trade for me if he decides to block. And this also prevents him from scrying too much. So happy that I kept Soren's Thirst in this deck. Seems to have some relevancy. And also Teferi's Time Twist, the Vampire Opportunist to have another 2/3 attacker, 3/2 attacker. So I think this is fine. So go. Don't think I want Teferi's Time Twist unless he uses a removal, because again he could just use the Death Toucher to trade off for the bigger creature. Land is good. So do I pull the trigger on the Enter the God Eternals? Maybe not. Like maybe I'm just fine trading off a creature for this 1/1. I still get a 2/2 Amass token. So, and I can save the Enter the God Eternals for a more bigger threat. So I think I like this. This seems pretty solid. Could have a removal spell. So now what? Yeah, I think I'm happy having this resolve. He still doesn't get a scry off. And he might just preserve this Vraska, but he can't make any more tokens with it. So I think this should be fine. And maybe I play another Herald next turn. Don't think I want to play out the Skulker. He could have Band Together, which this has Death Touch, and can be quite problematic for me to deal with. So
the day is yours.
I think I'm happy with a Herald here. So he doesn't get good value from a Band Together with this Assassin. And maybe I activate the Enter the God Eternals next turn on this, unless he has some pretty big creatures. Well, that's a big creature, but I don't think Enter the God Eternals deals with this too well. But I think I just send in everything regardless, and I do have Unlikely Aid as a fine combat trick. If he blocks any of my 2/2s, I can Enter the God Eternals and finish them off, so I think I'm happy with the attack here. Opponent will be suspecting combat tricks, of course. Alright, think I'm fine with that. Any reason to play anything? Not really. I think I'm just gonna let the damage happen. Opponent's gonna take 2. I'm gonna mass, and I might get punished, but I think I'm going for the Enter the God Eternals. He could have like a removal spell like Band Together, but I do need to deal with this invading Mana Core. So next turn I can probably Unlikely Aid and attack into this. He could set up a Band Together here, but I think I had to find a way to deal with this invading Mana Core. Otherwise, it would just be pretty problematic. And I might get 2 for 1 if he uses Band Together with this, and I Unlikely Aid into this. But I think it's a risk that I'm willing to take, given that this 8/8 can put in a bunch of damage once I get rid of this Assassin. Primordial Drake is powerful, but I think I'm willing to attack and then use Unlikely Aid if he blocks with the 1/1. Yeah, let's attack here. Unlikely 8 seems really good. So yeah, I think Unlikely 8 is an undervalued card. To be honest, this is good. Does red green have any discard? Not really, so I think it's fine playing out my land. Say go. Opponent can attack me for 7, but I can attack him back for 8. Spellgorger weird, sure. And this trades into Primordial Drake and Spellgorger Weird pretty nicely. I think I'm just going to attack here. I'm fine if he grows the Spellgorger Weird. I just want to take out this Primordial Drake and get value out of this 8/8 while I can. He could use a pump spell, which would suck. And I think he does, given that he didn't really hesitate doing that. Yeah. So it didn't really play around. Oh, well, at least this didn't pump the health. So I think I'm fine with this. This is going to grow the Spellgorger Weird, but at least I get rid of this card. Now I can play the Skulker. Leave up mana for the Teferi's Time Twist in case he has any removal. So go. I don't think I attack, simply because I need this as a blocker. I don't think I'm going to kill him anytime soon. Well, Spark Harvest seems pretty powerful. So maybe I just Spark Harvest a 3/3. Seems pretty good. Leave up enough mana for, well, he could just sacrifice this, but that's fine. He's getting rid of this. He's pumping this, but, I think he should have sacrificed. And now I can attack in with the 3/5. Try to race the opponent from there. We're trading 3 damage for 3, but I'm still ahead in the race, so I think I'm fine pushing in this damage. And I can make this unblockable anytime and squeeze in some damage as well, so I think I'm fine taking 3 from the opponent. Opponent shouldn't be playing out the lands, should be hiding info with the land. But, so what if I Teferi's Time Twist? What's the clock going to be? It's still a... Might just be a 4-turn clock if I do it. And I think it's worth it. I'm just going to go ahead and push the button. Yeah. So I can keep growing this, and I can punch him for 4 every turn to beat him at the race. Doesn't seem to have any good removal spells against this either. And red-green is mostly damage-based removal, so I think this is a good play just to eventually outrace the opponent. Swamp, but let's just attack. Now opponent's on a 3-turn clock. I think it's smart to race, given that his creatures might just be too big for me to handle in the late game. So I think I need to pressure him as much as possible before he kills me. Because he does seem to be playing some pretty big creatures like Primordial Drake and Invading Mana Core and the Cyclops in his deck. Now I can just keep activating this, punching in for 4. Opponent could just be sandbagging a spell or a land. Visionary looks decent. I can't activate the turn, so I think I'm just going to pump here with the Skulker. I mean, not pump, activate the ability, play out Visionary, next turn use it to loot away a land to get some playables going. Now I can play out the Visionary as a fine blocker against this Grim Initiate. I think I'm going to block the Initiate, even though it can amass and grow bigger, just to prevent that extra damage and to get value off of this. Or maybe I just take it. Like, I have a 2-turn clock on the opponent. I'm definitely not going to block the on-crop Invader, because I need this as a way to filter in the late game. Get enough playables. Alright, definitely going to main phase this, I think. Yeah. And what do I want to discard? May Island, given that I have Dread Malkin, I'm going to make this unblockable. Opponent should be dead next turn if he can't deal with this Skulker. Yeah, so happy that I picked up the Skulker as a fine one-of. I think this is a very good card if you only have one of these. Now we're going to play out Dread Malkin. We're going to keep the land in hand to loot away with the Rag Visionary next turn. This deck would have been great with Spellkeeper Weirds to get back to Enter the God Eternals and Spark Harvest and so forth. But yeah, we got him. Sweet. Tyrant Scorn would have been great in our deck. So yeah, 3 wins. Let's keep going. Right, let's get our 4th win. Narset on 3, Lazarev on 2. Yeah, seems pretty solid. Yeah, and we can leverage the Thunder Drake and hopefully use that as a win condition. mulliganing down to 6. Let's play out the island. Go. Now, do I want to Narset right away? That's a good question. Let's see. Let's play out the Swamp. Play out the Reaver. Next turn I could Narset right away, or I can step another Lazarev Reaver. If he attacks, do I double block? Perhaps. Just to get rid of this Proliferator, which can be quite a nuisance. Could play the Aven Eternal this turn. Yep. So maybe Narset doesn't look too great. Like, what are we looking for with Narsets? I don't really know. We could just attack here and maybe use Unlikely Aid on something. Maybe just play up another Lazarev Reaver, put up a 2/2. That can pretty much block any of these cards. Like, if I use Unlikely Aid, I'm mostly just going to attack with one creature, maybe just a 1/1. He's just going to block with a 1/1. Maybe just attack with a 1/2. He's going to block with one of these and I can kill it off. Maybe just another Reaver sounds decent. Maybe I'm just fine attacking for 2 right now. If he wants to trade Martyr, that's great. I just want to get this Proliferator out of the way ASAP before it gets too out of hand if he puts up any counters on any other creatures. Okay, so that's pretty annoying. Now this is going to become a 4/4 if I trade into this. I could set up something with the Massacre Girl. But I do need lands. Maybe Narset can buy me some time to get there. I think I'm just going to say go. Narset can't really find any lands for us. So I think I just might leave up the Unlikely Aid in case he tries something. Take 3 for now. Could be playing around my no escape, potential no escape. Yeah, it seems like he is, with the Prismite. But I have some good blockers on the ground. I just need to deal with this flyer and everything seems good. I wouldn't mind him proliferating a bunch onto this Aven Eternal because I can take it out with Massacre Girl the turn after. So do I play out the Thunder Drake? It's another solid blocker. It does die to Massacre Girl. I can potentially set up an Unlikely Aid in case I don't get a second Swamp next turn. Yeah, I think I'm down. Like, it does feel bad that, let's say I top deck a Swamp and I end up losing my Thunder Drake. But okay, well, now I'm not that upset. Okay, so now it's just good game. Yeah, let's just go for it. I think this wipes the whole entire board. And do I just attack with everything? Nah, let's just get the Master Girl down. Yeah, Master Girl's a busted card. This is gonna die anyways because I have a bunch of this on the stack. So yeah, nice new animation for the Massacre Girl. Yeah, I think I win this game now. I don't think the opponent can come back, given that I've entered the God Eternals and Massacre Girl. So that's why I stuck with blue-black, simply because this is such a bomb card in a controlling black deck. I did lose out on my Thunder Drake, but I didn't know if I was going to top deck a second Swamp. And I was going to set up an Unlikely Aid turn, but now I do have no escape to keep up with the Massacre Girl. Attacking for 4 here. Could have a card called Divine Arrow, but I'm not going to play around it, given that I'm Unlikely Aid. Now the Ashok Skulker can be a nice card. Could have played around Counterspell a little bit, but I think I have to pressure him. Kazmina is powerful.
Come, little Ember, and learn your focus on what matters.
This has Menace, so I can attack past it. Now I guess it's a good turn of Narset, perhaps. Or do I just leave up for no escape? Maybe leaving up for no escape is fine. Just gonna attack with these two for now. I mean, I do have Enter the God Eternals, but man, I think it's fine to just leave up for no escape. Get value out of it while I still can. Is he looking to pump this? Sure. He shouldn't have enough mana for crushing Descent if he has any, so I think this is just game over here. Yeah, opponent has a pretty strange deck, playing white cards and combining it with blue. Pretty strange Esper deck, to be honest. I guess he's just looking to splash the black with the Sorin, but other than that, yeah, I don't think those combat tricks were that great. Currently 4-0. I think we might get there. We'll see. Well, it's taking around 2 minutes to search for a game, so I can tell not a lot of people noticed that World of Spark ranked drafts are up. And maybe this is an easy way to farm 7 wins, given that this draft format hasn't been too popular for the most part, and a lot of people don't really know how to draft this set. But geez, this is taking forever. Alright, finally found an opponent. And a bronze opponent. Well, the matchmaking system needs to be fixed. Otherwise, yeah, Opponents are just going to get screwed. Dread Malkin on 1, Last of Reaver on 2. Yep, I think I like this hand. And no escape for a 3, turn 3 play. Dread Malkin looks pretty good here. I can leave up mana for sacrifice with the Dread Malkin and a no escape, so it seems pretty solid. Let's attack. And I think I want to develop the Last of Reaver just to push in, just to grow some bodies, have a good sacrifice outlet for the Dread Malkin the turn after. Snare Spinner, okay, that would have been a good no escape target, but I think I'm just going to attack with the Dread Malkin. Doesn't have any good double blocks, so I think I'm fine attacking him for 1. I could sacrifice a token end of turn and start pushing for 3, but right now this seems pretty solid. Could play that Leyline Prowler that I want to counter real badly on 3. Do I counter this? Do I really care too much? He could sacrifice this, make this to a 3-3. Which could be quite problematic against mine. But I think it's fine for now. And yeah, I think I might just counter this card. I could make this a 3-3 at the end of the turn, save it up for next turn, but yeah, let's get rid of this. I want a nice scry too. And don't think I need a second island. I think I'm going to bond this. I might regret it if I top deck Enter the Gaia Eternals, but I don't think I want to be too greedy when it comes to lands. Now let's see, I can play out the land. I can attack with a Dread Malkin and sacrifice something and trade. I think that's fine. If he wants double block, I can punish him pretty badly here. And he's not? Okay. So I think I'm going to play Vampire Opportunist, set up the Teferi's Time Twist if he has any removal, and say go. Okay, Vivian's Grizzly. Alright, sure. I could Time Twist this Dread Malkin. Is it worth it? Maybe not. Ooh, Lazda Reaver seems solid, so I could just sacrifice this, make this into a 3-3, and then play out the Lazda Reaver. Seems pretty solid. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do it main phase. Just to grow this Dread Malkin for a bunch, then play out the second Reaver. Say go. Because I need a good attacker against these Menacers. He could have removal, which could suck. Raska's annoying, alright. So I think I'm going to have a hard time getting past this. He could just double block. So now what? I guess I can start activating this Opportunist end of turn. It is 7 mana though. I don't think I have any good attacks. He's just going to double block, and this Death Toucher is annoying. So yeah, I think it's just a bit of a stalemate. I don't think I can attack with any of these. Like, I could Time Twister this end of turn and offer an attack in this trades. So I think I'm kind of stuck for now, so we're just going to say go. And he can find creatures with this as well. So yeah, this matchup might be the first one we lose. And he can sacrifice his Planeswalker with the Dread Malkin as well. Sorin Stir seems fine. If I do on a Dread Malkin, what happens? He's just going to sacrifice it. But I think I'm just going to keep it up next turn. Maybe I can attack with a Dread Malkin. What happens? He double blocks. And then I can perhaps shoot down a Death Toucher. He's probably just going to double block with 1. think I can still get a good fine trade off of it. Yeah, I think I might try to attack here. I'm fine with double blocks of both Death Touchers. That's a nice 2-for-1 for me. And if he tries to sacrifice this to gain value, I can easily... Okay, I think I'm happy letting this happen. He might just sacrifice one of them. And then if he does, with this on the stack, I can just Soren's Thirst it. Yeah, it seems pretty good here, and we're just going to end turn. He might sacrifice something end of turn, and I can just Soren's Thirst it. He didn't activate the Grizzly, which I found quite peculiar. Iron Bully looks pretty annoying. Hopefully he puts it on Dread Malkin. Puts on a Snare Spinner. He doesn't have enough mana to sack this. Sack to put counters onto this. So I think I'm just going to shoot it down end of turn. And I think I'm fine with this. I do want to take out this Grizzly, so let's see. I think I'm fine maybe just triple blocking this. Do I take out the Vampire Opportunist? Nah, I think this is fine. He could have a pump spell, which I could get punished for, but I can Teferi's Time Twist something and also Soren's Thirst, so I think that's pretty decent. And I can Soren's Thirst this 2-2 end of turn. Seems like a pretty nice play. Do I Teferi's Time Twist anything? Probably not. Just say go. Strix looks pretty excellent here. Actually, not a great card at all, my bad. Yeah, let's punch in. And let's take out this Raska. And I could Time Twist whatever he blocks and pumps. Or let it resolve. I think he's fine just letting this go, and I'm happy this happens. So now we have a Strix. This is only when it blocks, so I can still block this 1-3. If he tries to use any combat tricks, I can just Time Twist something away and get it out of removal range. Primordial Drake is annoying. Okay, that's something I had to deal with. The 3, 4, 5, 6. I can try to do a triple block, maybe, but then I'll lose everything. So hopefully I top deck a removal spell and we can say go. Alright. I think I'm fine taking one here. I think I need as much creatures as possible. Don't think I want to trade off for the Iron Bully. Ooh, enter the God Eternals. This is an instant speed, but I think I can go for it. Yeah, let's just try to do a desperate attack. He just blocks the Opportunist, and maybe we can enter the God Eternals on it. If he blocks a 1-2, that's going to be a little bit weird. But I think I want him to block this Vampire Opportunist really badly. But he's actually playing it safe. Pretty smart. So I could just Teferi's Time Twist, end of turn, maybe make another Amass token. I think it's fine. Yeah, let's go for it. Tithe Bearer is a bit annoying. So do I chump block here or do I just take 7? I think this might be fine just taking 7. Yeah, I think I'm down just taking 7. Yeah, maybe I just enter the God Eternals here. Don't think I want to play around anything. Let's take out the Snare Spinner. So I can start punching in for some damage, putting up some nice blockers against this Primordial Drake. Might have to chump block this 7/6, I don't know, to race him, or set up a nice double block. He could have a pump spell, which I'm afraid of. Well, War Scale Crocodile trades well, so I might just double block this 7/6. I think I might just be the right play. Yeah, and I don't think there's any one-mana tricks. Maybe Giant Growth, but yeah, I could get punished by Giant Growth, but I don't think I play around it. He could have it. Oh man, please don't have it. Yeah, I think this trade is good for us. And we can activate the Vampire Opportunist and try to race the opponent from there. Say go. You could just double block this Ward Scale Croc. I'm gonna let this resolve. Prowl, Stinger, nothing I care too much about. I think I'm double blocking this Croc just to avoid the 5 damage. I think I'm gonna take a little bit more damage overall if I chump block this. If I don't block and kill this off. So I think I'm fine taking it here. And then we can activate this end of turn. Seems pretty powerful. Aid the Fallen, is there anything to get back? I guess a Dread Malkin. Can't really get back Enter the God Eternals. Would be great if I could. Would a Dread Malkin do much? Not really. Then I'm just going to attack here. Do I play out the land? Probably not. Say go. I think next turn is lethal as long as I can deal with this Croc and prevent him from doing 13 damage to us. All this stuff has trample, so that's pretty annoying. Is it lethal though? If he attacks with everything, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I do need to prevent some damage here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it is 13 damage. But I think I can... Yeah, I think it's just a double block here. Seems fine. Activate the Vampire Opportunist and activate again on my turn, attack in for 1. So yeah, looks good. Well, got pretty lucky there. We were flooding out near the end. So, yep. Pretty solid 5-0 currently. Rank 77 Mythic. Pretty happy with this result. Let's see. Yeah, I think I might finish this. Hopefully I might make a part 2 video, but maybe I can finish this with just one video. We'll see. Let's go. Alright, I guess we have Dread Malkin on 1, then we can leave up enough for Soren's Thirst, and maybe Narset can get in there. Yeah, I guess we can try it out. Let's keep. Like, I don't think we need Narset right away. It's more of like a late game card in case I need to find some removal. So I think a Dread Malkin's fine, maybe then leave up enough for Soren's Thirst next turn, and then play enough for the... Then try to play enough for the Narset, so I think I like the Swamp here. Attacking for 1. And we can play a Narset on turn 4. Alright, opponent's in the same color as Dimir. Now we can play out the island, attacking for 1. Then try to shoot down maybe a 2 toughness creature that he plays next turn. Maybe Narset can find us, enter the God Eternals. And then we can end up sacrificing it with the Dread Malkin. Well, opponent still plays nothing. Could have no escape, but I don't think I play around it. Just attack here and see what happens. Do I play around no escape? Probably not. Like next turn we can enter the God Eternals, it can be really powerful, so yeah, let's just go for it. Yeah, he could just have no escape. And he doesn't have it, that's excellent.
Focused and disciplined, encounter no obstacles.
This prevents him from drawing cards with Tamiel's Epiphany. Well, he's looking to mass 1 to poke me for 1.
And prepare.
Well, the no escape seems pretty decent, but he knows about it, so Thunder Drake is powerful. Opponent's just gonna attack him for 1 here. Let's think.
This is overwhelming.
I could leave up enough mana for the no escape. It's still casted, so yeah, let's just minus Narset here. I don't think I want to sacrifice this to the Dread Malkin. There's a possibility I could have found the card. I forgot what the card was called. The Enter the God Eternals, but I guess that was a bit of a whiff. So I just went for it. It would have been a great target with this Thunder Drake. I think I'm fine taking 3 here. Actually, I could just Soren's Thirst to 1/1, but we'll see. I can just do that end of turn. Firemind Vessel, I don't care. It enters the battlefield tapped. Yeah, let's Soren's Thirst this 1/1. Get rid of it. He knows about the no escape, so he's going to play around it. Still going to attack him for 1. Definitely flooding out a lot. We need to find some playables quickly. Otherwise, we're just going to get killed by this Drake. Opponent's probably just going to try to bait out something with this no escape. I'm fine maybe just countering it. I'm definitely not going to counter that. Doesn't look too powerful. He could start shipping in some damage with it, but I think there's bigger fish to fry that I'm keeping up this no escape. He could have his own no escape. Well, Master Girl is really powerful. Do I just go for it? And I still have no escape mana. No, not really. Maybe I can be a little bit more greedy. Save it up for next turn. And I think that's what I'm going to do. You could play a bigger creature. And maybe I just take 4 here. I just wanted to be tapped out because he could have removal. So I think I just take it for now. Well, the Swamp isn't doing much. Does this play around Crushing Descent? I guess it does, because the opponent still needs to play 2, and I also have no escape up, so I think I like the Massacre Girl here. He could have no escape himself. Well, yeah, that sucks. Well, that's unfortunate. I also can't I can't find the I can't cast the 2-mana recursion spell, but I had to play something out, honestly, I think. Because I am flooding out, I need to deal with this board, otherwise it's just going to keep punching in and overwhelming me. Might just fire off this unlikely aid here. I think I'm fine just taking 4 for now still. Could have another counter spell, that would suck. Iron Bully seems decent. I think I want to Dread Malkin because I could grow this into a 4-4 or something. So do I attack? Probably not. Just say go. Opponent could have Davriel to discard, so I might keep Swamp in the hand. I'm still taking 2 per turn with this Thunder Drake, so that can be quite problematic. Might have to unlikely 8 if he uses a removal spell. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have to cast Unlikely 8 to make this indestructible. Well, he milled my own Unlikely 8, unfortunately, so, yep, that's a huge bummer. That's annoying. Ghost form is definitely not something I want to see. I might just might be the first loss. Opponent does have a really powerful deck. Managed to no escape my Massacre Girl and also mill my Enter the God Eternal, so I think I'm really far behind. Yeah, Last of Reaver seems pretty solid. Probably just gonna say go. I could attack. Probably not. Probably need to play some defense. Opponent could just keep attacking me in the air, and this will just keep coming back with the Kaio's Ghost form, so I think I'm pretty much done. Would be great if I had a Spellkeeper Weir to get this back. This way I can somehow deal with this Thunder Drake. But the Narset didn't really do too much for us. I mean, it gave us a no escape, but at the same time the opponent knows about it and they're going to play around it. Should be dead next turn if he decides to double spell. Yeah, I have to let that resolve. There's no point in sacrificing anything. This doesn't really play around it too well. Yeah, opponent does have a really powerful black-blue deck. Don't think I can win this. Good game. Alright, I think I'm just going to make a part 2 video now. The time is almost up, so stay tuned.